It's a win. That's what it was. It was a win. And I'm not in the bathroom because it's a win. It's a 14-7 win. It's a one-score win. And I swear to God that between the offensive coordinator and the coaches on this team, they're literally trying to get games to one score so we can win them. So it's like proving our toughness or getting maybe back at that horrible, we've lost 83 games by one score. And it's really irritating, and my God, it's exhausting. Because I'm tired. That was a difficult game to watch. I think we all knew that, well, that's not true. I was going to say we all knew that Rutgers would be a tough game and a four-quarter game, and that's bullshit. Because Nebraska went up 14-0 in the first half, and they played, again, pretty decent football, not outstanding, ass-kicking, score 38 points and a half football, but 14-0 and a half, you'd think, okay, well, it looks like they could break this open and it won't be, a nail-biter like what it came down to. But I will ask you this, and this is a serious question. Was there ever a point in this game where Rutgers was going to win? And I think you could debate that. And maybe Monday night come to my live show and we'll have a debate about it. But was there really ever a point? You had the ball bonk off a Rutgers receiver's head. Let's go to special teams. No, let's not go to special teams. Dylan Raiola did not play well in this game. He was off target. He looks like he was flustered. He didn't make decisions. He had open receivers. He didn't throw the ball to him. I imagine we can scream at him about it, but again, he's a freshman and he'll learn. And, we did win the game. Rutgers ended up with more total yards than we did, 264. Nebraska ended up with 261 yards, 164 passing, 97 rushing, because we did some kneel downs that lost us yards, and we gave up 4 sacks. The defense only gave up 7 points, including one amazing goal line stand when the Rutgers got the ball down to the foot line, the 1 yard line, and the defense kept them out of the game. And we know that earlier in this season, I've seen so many people complain that the defense was exposed, and because they gave up rush yards to Northern Iowa early, they were exposed, and now they had a blueprint to beat us. Well, Nebraska's defense, after giving us 7 points in this game, is probably going to be about number 7 in the nation in scoring defense. And as I pointed out on my live shows, scoring defense is really the only defensive category, defensive statistic that really counts, because it is about scoring, and that's what the game comes down to. Let's just go into special teams. First of all, Brian Buschini is a god. I literally, toward the end of this game, I thought, Brian Buschini, first of all, he gets buried on what is a terrible special teams play when we get the punt blocked. And apparently we don't know how to protect when things change. We had problems with Rutgers' punt formation throughout the entire game. That's why we didn't bother returning any punts, is because they lined up differently, and apparently we had no idea how to react to it. I don't know why Rutgers lined up their punts with 3 guys to one side with only one of them covered and then never threw the ball to them. I mean, Brian Buschini threw probably the best pass of the night, honestly. Brian Buschini had, let me look it up. Brian Buschini, as a quarterback, was 1 for 1 for 30 yards for 100% completion rate with a quarterback rating of 352. Dylan Raiola was 13-27 for 134 yards with 1 interception, 48% completion rating, 82.4 rating as a quarterback. Not very good. It was better than Ethan Kalimakis for Rutgers, who was 80.9. And it's a good thing he couldn't run later in the game, because he couldn't scramble his way out of danger like he had before against Nebraska when he played at Minnesota. You might wonder why Rutgers went away from the run game with Kyle Managi. Well, that's because Nebraska adjusted. When you see the offensive coordinators change stuff up, typically it's because the defense has adjusted to what you're doing, and you can no longer make those runs. So he had 60 yards in the first quarter, and then he ended up with 78 yards on 19 carries for the whole rest of the game. There's always this thing about halftime adjustments. You can't wait until halftime to make adjustments. You can make adjustments at halftime and have a talk and say, here's what we're going to do for the second half. But if you don't adjust while the game is going on, then Kyle Minogue there, with Minagi or whatever, would have scored probably 14 points by himself. But we adjusted. And that's what's beautiful about our defense, even though we complained about it earlier in the season. The defense had an incredible game. James Williams was, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss. That guy played his guts out. Ty Robinson had a sack where he just came down on Athan there. We're on a first-name basis. And I'll be honest with you, if I saw Ty Robinson running at me like that, I could do a colonoscopy flush in like 2 seconds and not have to spend all night drinking that crappy fluid they give to you to clean your bowels out. I don't know how you even survived that. My whole body, my spirit would have left my body seeing Ty Robinson come out after me as huge as he is. But special teams is an absolute disaster, except for one guy, Brian Buschini, who threw a beautiful pass to convert a 4th down that was a beautiful point in the game. I don't know where his punts are, but I know that he had a 69-yard punt, and he had probably 2 or 3 60-yard punts. And that guy, was the game saver. If you were going to give a game ball to the guy, it'd go to Brian Buschini. The offense, I don't know why we ran really plain vanilla rushing plays for the second half, other than the Marcus Satterfield wants to kill us all with old age, and aging is very fast. Because you could throw some motion in there, you could throw some misdirection in there. We had some good passes early on screen plays, and then we didn't really do much more of that later. And it's almost as if they're literally playing to say, okay, well, we can hold on with 14 points, and that's going to be good enough to win this game. And maybe it is. Maybe that is a coaching strategy. I don't like it. You don't like it. It just makes us all like get ulcers. But here we are. One recommendation I'd have is this. Could you please take the title of Chasing 3 and change it to maybe Chasing 14 or Chasing 21 or 28? Because honest to God, it's like you're saying, oh, let's just get 3 points and we'll be good. And maybe that mentality, maybe that's actually what's going on. They're just like, we're going to win every game by 1 score. And I know there's a lot of you that are probably going to be going, oh, we're going to lose to Indiana, or we're going to lose, we won't win another game the rest of the season. I'm certainly going to get those remarks. I know I am. Let's just take it one game at a time. We're 5-1. We're 1 game away from a bowl game. Indiana struggled a little bit with Northwestern, beating them 41-24. So they gave up 24 points to Northwestern. Northwestern is not very good. I'm not sure what else to say other than we need a special teams coach. And I'm trying to really not get really too bent out of shape about this because the game wore me out. I mentioned that. We really need a special teams coach. Can you coach special teams? Could I coach special teams? Well, maybe somebody could. Maybe it could be down to anybody. Maybe it's you. What do you think, Bucky? Could you coach special teams? This is the dumbest thing I've ever done. Well, he probably could, don't you think? I mean, what do you think is required to coach special teams, Bucky? Probably next to nothing. It's what it looks like. Well, the only thing it looks like to me is that you don't screw up your punter, who is the god of special teams, and apparently don't do anything with anybody else either. I'm not even sure why I pulled this out. So I have no idea how to use it. It's for shock value. We won. We're 4-1 or 5-1 or whatever the hell it is. We have 1 loss. We have Indiana next. They're undefeated. They're 6-0. They're going to come into. We're going to go to Bloomington. We're going to play them, and I'm sure we're going to worry about it ahead of time. And we'll probably beat them and win by 1 score, because that's what it looks. Maybe after that we could beat Ohio State with 1 score. They struggled with Iowa in the first half. They only led 7-0. They ended up beating Iowa 35-7, and maybe Ohio State's vulnerable. Who knows? Just let it play out. Let the season play out. I'm sure we can have fun discussing like what may happen later, but don't get too bent out of shape about it, because right now This defense really looks like they could carry us a long ways. And that's all I got to say on this one. I could probably get bent out of shape about it, but again, I'm old, crusty, and kind of worn out by the game. My God. What do you think? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments section. Maybe next time if I have a prop, I should be prepared to actually use it. Go Big Red.